Hi guys, we're doing lesson 6, average rate of change today. This lesson is something that you've done before. So you do know the formula. I have it up there actually already for you on your lesson 6 notes. So make sure that you're actually writing stuff down. You're going to do some of these problems. I'm not doing all of them. So when you come back, when we visit again in person, I'm going to be looking for these notes to make sure that you finish them off. So make sure that they're all complete. Okay, so I'm going to give you a minute. Well, let me go back for a second though. Average rate of change you've done since like middle school. You were introduced to it, and it's a strand that goes through every year from algebra, geometry through algebra 2, and they always have a question on it on the Regents exam. It's just something that they want to make sure that you really understand and in context especially. So we're going to do this problem. So take a minute and read. You're going to do it through a table, an equation, and a graph. Okay, so take a minute, read that problem. Okay, so as you can see that they want to know what the change is per month from the month 10 to 60. So you're going to pick them as coordinate points. You're going to label them x1, y1, x2, y2, and then you're going to perform the formula above. So change in y is always on top, minus 1172 over change in x. So 60 minus 10. Remember, if you start with 2,591 for the y, you have to start with the 60 for the x, okay? So make sure that they coordinate. Okay, so you're going to subtract the 2, and there's the top, and there's the bottom, and it's 28. So that means let's talk in terms of money. It's $28.40. Okay, so if they ask you to describe this, I'm going to write this 1 down so that you can see. You have to note that it is from month 10 to 60. So from month 10 to 60, this is a girl, right? She had an average rate of change of $28.40 per month added, because it's increasing, to her balance. Okay, so I'm going to let you do B. All right, so take a minute and try B. All right, so determine the average rate of change from month 36 to 72. Okay, so stop it and do it, and then I'm going to put the answer up. Okay, so hopefully you got $37.92. So what I want to see when you come in is I want to see that work. I want to see you do all of this down here. So you should have gotten an average rate of change of $37.92. And that means from month 36 to 72, she had an average increase of $37.92 per month. Okay, now for C, it says over which interval of time is the average rate of change for the balance on our credit card the greatest? And we're going to say 36 to 72, and then we would explain that it's 37.92 versus 28.40, and that change is greater per that month, for that time period. Okay. So let me take you to the back page. We're going to do the graph here. Okay, so we looked at it as a table. Now we're going to look at it as a graph, and then you're going to look at it as an equation. All right, and I'm going to do one example from each, and you're going to do the other one. Okay, so it says the graph below shows the height of a ball after X seconds Find the average rate of change based on the given interval and explain its meaning in the context of the problem. So from between 0 and 4 seconds. Now you can see, remember, average rate of change is either increasing or decreasing. So if I were to look at this section, look at it in red here, overall, it's an increasing rate of change. There's a little piece that starts to go down, but your answer should be increasing. It should be a positive, okay? When we look at this one, because in a minute, you're going to look at 4 to 6 seconds, right? So from 4 in green to 6, right, it's going down. So that means your average rate of change for that one should be negative, right? So the rate of change determines that positive versus negative determines whether it's going up or going down. Okay, so we should get a positive result here. So I'm going to pick my point when x is 0 to 14. So I'm looking at this red mark here. And from 4 to the y value for that, be careful, it's not 21, it's 22, right? Okay, so there's my x1, my y1, my x2, my y2, and I take the difference of the two. And I get 2 feet. Now watch how I'm writing this. Once I subtract, right, I get 2 feet per 1 second. Now how do I know that? Because this up here is the change in y, right? So the change in y is your height. The change in x is your time, and it's in seconds. So when I talk about the context of the problem, describing it in the context of the problem, I want to say 2 feet per 1 second. So like I want to make sure that I use that. And I'm going to say from 0 to 4 seconds, because you got to tell it which interval when you're describing this in the context of the problem. You got to tell me the interval that it's happening. From 0 to 4 seconds, the ball is increasing 2 feet per 1 second. Okay, so it's increasing an average of 2 feet per 1 second. That's how you describe it to get that full credit for the context. Okay, you're going to take a minute now, and you're going to do 4 to 6 seconds. Okay, go. And I'm going to write the answer, and so pause it, and I'll write the answer. Okay, so you should have had -4, right? And this is feet per 1 second, right? So when you do your describing, so by the way, I'm going to look for this work here, so make sure that you get that down. Okay, now that negative could have been on the top or the bottom, doesn't matter. But overall, this is a negative because it's decreasing, like we said. Remember, it's going down. So your description should be from 4 to 6 seconds, the ball will decrease by 4 feet per second. Okay? And then it says, which rate of change above represents the greatest rate of change? Okay, you ignore the negative. The negative tells you it's going down. That's fine. But that's actually not the smaller number. It's actually decreasing. When it decreases, it's actually has a rate of change that's greater. So when we answer this question, we're going to say the greatest rate of change was from 4 to 6 seconds because it decreased at a faster rate of 4 feet per second than increased at 0 to 4 seconds. You might want to say which had a rate of change of 2 feet per second. So you got to have a little explanation there. Okay. Hopefully you can read that because I write fast. Hopefully you can read that. Okay. So I said greatest rate of change was from 46 seconds because it decreased at a faster, this should say faster, this is the part where you're not going to be able to read it, at a faster rate of 4 feet per second than increased at 0 to 4 seconds, which was the rate of change, 2 feet per second. Okay, last one. You're going to do B, I'm going to do A. All right, so now they give it to you in the form of an equation. Okay, so literally, you know what I would do? I would put this in my y1 and go to the table. And this means when x is -5 and when x is -3. Okay, this means when y is, or when x is 1 to when x is 3. So this is an interval. For B, it's like an interval. Same thing for A. They're saying the interval from when x is -5 to when x is -3. Okay? And when x is -5, when you put this in y1, you should get 89 and 37. And then you're going to do just what we been doing. 89 minus 37, -5 minus -3, and that's 52, -2, which is that. Okay? So this is what I want you to do. For the rest of 3, I want you to finish it. We're going to look at it when I see you. For A, it's next Monday. For B, it'll be Thursday. Okay? And hopefully that makes sense to you. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. Make sure that you do the homework associated with this, okay? So that it all gets done, you get your practice in, okay? And we'll talk to you soon. Bye.